Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Quintessencial Thursdays. Today I'm coming to you live from my home because we have a holiday today in Germany. It's Father's Day, so to all the fathers watching today, happy Father's Day. It's great to be a father. So I hope you had a very good day. Nevertheless, the holiday, we have, of course, kept our promise to keep our Quintessencial Thursday going, and we are very happy to have invited four excellent speakers on dental technology today. The session is going to be hosted by Vincent Fema, and we have the pleasure of welcoming Hilal Kudai from Turkey, Nondas Vlachopoulos, I hope I said the name right, from Greece, and August Bruguera from Spain. So without further ado, I will hand over to Vince, who I'm going to get into the discussion to start the session of today. Perfect. And here is Vince.
So, thank you very much, Christian. Welcome everyone around the world watching. For some of you, good morning. For some of you, good afternoon. And for some of you, good evening. Welcome to this Father's Day version of the Quintessencial Thursday. So, it's my great pleasure to be the host of this session for the next 1.5 to 2 hours to come. So it's a really honor. I think that also dental technology has its place here in this version of the Quintessencial Thursdays. And what we are actually going to do is we are looking into the challenges of aesthetic restorations in the digital perspective. And for this, we invited three really pristine speakers, which I will just name in the order of their appearance, which is Nondas, going to start from Athens. I mean, it's really difficult to present him to you because most likely all of you will already know him. He has graduated in Athens. He's actually born in Canada. This is maybe something that not all of you might have heard of before, so at least you have a little bit of a new thing. Christian, just a small note, I'm still seeing you smiling on my screen. I hope that we will have no glitches in the broadcasting. Anyway, Nondas is going to start. He has a...
I'm sorry, do you want me to take a different look, or is the smile okay?
No, the smile is just perfect.
I'm not in the picture. It's just you that sees me.
Wonderful, wonderful. So perfect. Thank you very much, Christian. So Nondas, not only that he has his own laboratory, he also has a strong collaboration to the university, the National University of Athens, followed by August Bruguera, which you all know from Barcelona in Spain, and then complemented in the end to somehow summarize and finalize the session by Hilal Kudai from Bodrum, Turkey. And the vision for these three pristine speakers is to highlight their challenges, but also, their benefits, utilizing these new technologies in the digital workflows, but not with the focus on, let's say, posterior restorations, which we all know you can perfectly, do in monolithic terms just by applying, all these digital features, but really with the focus of anterior restorations. And with this, I'm really curious to learn, just like you, there are three presentations, starting with Nondas in a few moments, as all of the three are not only really amazing dental technicians, but they're all amazing educators. So I will not steal more of their time, and I will give my word to Nondas. And Nondas, please, the stage is yours, the screen is yours, as we have to say in these webinar times, and I'm really looking forward to your 20-minute presentation.
Thank you very much, Vincent. Thank you very much, Christian, for this invitation. Hello to everyone. Happy Father's Day in Germany. And I hope everyone is healthy and safe. So let's start. We have only 20 minutes. And for this presentation, I just choose to present one big case with a full digital approach. So let's start the presentation. So this is the patient. The name is Panos.
We don't see your screen yet.
Excuse me?
We don't see your presentation yet. It's not shared yet.
Just a moment. Why? Zoom. But why? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, but we cannot see the screen.
One moment. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Now it's perfect. Start it.
Perfect. Okay.
It's starting.
Okay.
Yes, you need to start it, and that's good.
Perfect.
Okay. Okay. It was a mistake of me. Sorry. So the patient, the name of the patient is Panos. He's a Greek ophthalmologist doctor. He is 53 years old. There is, as you can see in the photo, a lot of worn dentition. At least there is 7 millimeters reduced vertical dimension of occlusal. There is a lot of bone defect on number 21 central due to occlusal trauma. Also, there is a lot of occlusal disorder, loss of the anterior guidance, and extensive and a lot cervical erosions. Also, as a patient, it was a very funny guy, so we had the opportunity to make some nice, funny photos, as you will see in the presentation. So I had this case, and I had to decide to make it digital, analog, like a press, procedure, totally digital, meal, or to combine. So I decided to try something new and to push it a little bit more digital. I'm not so digital person. I'm mostly manual. I like to work with my brush and layering ceramic. But for this case, I decided to try to make it digital as much as possible. So the initial portrait of the patient, smile. We can see the erosions on the occlusal surfaces, a lot of erosions, and the reduced of the video, high smile, cervical erosions, even of the different position of the lower jaw of the mandibular. We can see also the incisal facial erosions. So there is a protrusion of the mandibular teeth. So we start to have some chippings and erosions even in the facial corner, incisal facial corner here. So as you can see, occlusal, it's not good. There is a protrusion of the lower jaw because of the reduced VDO. And also the vertical dimension with calm muscle tone. It's like this. Back and forward. And in the maxillary space between centric relation and vertical dimension in rest position, it was almost 10 millimeters. So it was a lot of dentition that he lost in the past. So it was obviously a lot of aesthetic problems also on his appearance. So intraoral photos, the beginning, a lot of, we can see a lot of facial and cervical erosions. So we have dentine and just small quantities of the enamel only in the borders for to consider and to decide the kind of restoration to consider about bonding, good bonding. Lateral views. So it's erosions and it's a combination, as you can see, erosions and some chippings of the bruxism. So there is chemical problems, and there are some also bruxism problems. So we had to think about it and about how much we will cover his teeth, and also with what material and what type of occlusal in order and to solve the problem of the bruxism and the function problem. The tooth 21, it was compromised with moderate to poor prognosis, but after the occlusal equilibration and the surgical periodontal therapy with bone grafts, the mobility was less. We can see that here. So normally it's extraction tooth. We had to extract this tooth, but he didn't want it. And to extract and put an implant, but he didn't want to do that. He was afraid as a patient, and he said, no, leave it like this. So it was a therapy, it was a better condition, but normally we had to extract this tooth and to put an implant. Of course, it will happen later, but this time he didn't want to do that. As you can see, 21, this is after therapy, mobility was better, but not the best. Occlusal photos. So we can see here the amount of erosions and the occlusal surfaces as well. A lot of dentine. Hopefully in the margins, in the borders here, in the margins, we had enough enamel for cementation, for good cementation. Palatal surface, the same. Dentine, and at least it was not in all the teeth, but in some of them it was erosion, but at least we had enamel in the margins. Maxillary and mandibular. Now you can see here facial erosions, incisal erosions, a lot of erosions on the premolars. So we had to consider the mechanic issues here, how we will extend, how it will be the preparations in order to have better result without problems in the future. Occlusal, posterior surfaces, flat. There is no any occlusal. There is no any cusps at all. So we need to analyze all these photos and to get information for every square millimeter, because all this info can will give us a lot of information in order to decide and to proceed to the best prosthetic solution. And the maxillary, the erosions, it was not so much, but almost same situation. But palatally, it was not so bad. So what we did first, first we proceed to make a first scan without any preparation, nothing, just to scan the initial situation, to have initial and diagnostic models, to start to make digital diagnostic WhatsApp. We scan maxillary, the problem with the central here, and then mandibular. No preparations, but we are planning to use these models, to print and use these models in order to make provisionals. Then we will get an occlusal record. And we will use these digital files in order to make digital first provisional restorations in the final vertical dimension occlusal, and in order to verify the aesthetic, phonetic, and function. So we print also the models. And then we proceed to make milling provisionals. It's the first provisional in the final vertical dimension of occlusal. So we put them in the mouth, no preparations, nothing, just like in the top of the teeth. We don't care about the perfect, for example, margin fit, or to be at the same level with a gingiva. We are just supragingiva, but as here we have an undercut, erosion, so we don't care to be subgingival or in the same level. We are supragingiva, but the point is that we don't look for a perfect fit now. We're looking about to verify the vertical dimension of occlusal, the position, and the centering relation, and also to verify aesthetic. Lateral views. So we were not able to cover this, but we are not interesting about this now, that time. So we had some comments, new photos about his portrait, acrylic milling provisionals. And then we proceed to make the final scan after preparations. The clinician make the preparations, and then we have the final scanning of maxillary and mandibular teeth. So we decide to make three-quarter tabletops veneers on posteriors, and veneers for the anteriors, up and lower. There is, as you can see, some peripheral chamfer in the lingual and palatal surfaces in order to get more surface of enamel for better cementation, and in order to have better mechanical support to the occlusal forces. The preparations are the same level with a gingiva line, soft tissue. And we kept as much as possible the contact surfaces between teeth. We didn't touch them. So we wanted to grind the teeth as much as less possible. Occlusal record. And then we get the first STL files, lateral views, palatal and lingual views. And as you can see, the type of preparation, peripheral chamfer, even the facial surface here, just for the support of the forces to avoid uncompressed forces. And also we get more surface of enamel for better cementation in the margins. And then we proceed in the lab. We get the STL files. So now we do two different things. First of all, we will design the restorations. This is the margins of the restorations. And then we will design at the same time the models, the alveolar models for maxillary and mandibular. So this is the margins for the models. We're going to print the models. The alveolar bodies and the insertion paths. vestibular. We decide the insertion of the alveolar dice. Here. We are almost ready. Upper and lower. And then we start to design. First of all, we will block some difficult areas like undercuts. We'll apply more spacer, some fossas, difficult areas for insertion and cementation. Then we design with full contours anatomies. According the digital diagnostic wax-up and provisionals. We follow the provisionals, and then we will make space facially for micro layering of ceramic. Adaptation in the model about the margins. So after that, we get the alveolar models with the dice, with the alveolar dice. And also we get the STL files of the restorations. The design of the restorations, all of them will have facial layering, monolithic, occlusal, and lingual surfaces, and only facial layering. And we proceed with this system of the GEMA. So to do what? To print the STL files of the restorations of the crowns and direct to print it on a base for pressable material. Direct on the base of the ring, pressable material. So we print also the models in the same machine. And we print also the crowns and veneers. All the procedure is digital. The position of the screws, this is the base. All the procedure is totally digital. What we do in the lab by hands, we do the same thing in this program. The position, it's going, we can use automatically position, so the program decide for us the best, the optimal position of the crowns for better pressable technique. The rings, the space of the rings. So the most of the work can be automatically of the software in order to avoid mistakes. And then we print also the alveolar models in 50 micron accuracy and the alveolar dice. The dice on the model. And then also we print direct the restorations on the rings. Everything is printing. So we don't put like a plastic base and then to glue them with wax. Everything is printing. So we get the rings like this, almost ready. We don't need to make extra photopolymerization. It's ready from the machine. We just clean it with alcohol, and it's ready to put the rings and to press them, and to apply investment material. We use this nano-lithium disilicate from a Haas company with 2 different shades. So the ring, we put together the 3 parts, and then we apply investment material. So after crystallization, we remove them. Ready to put them in the burnout furnace. Nothing special, just the technique as we know many years now. And after we remove the ring, we'll put all the ingots, and then we proceed for the press. The 3 ingots will press simultaneously. And it's ready. We remove the investment material and we get the restorations. Then we fit the restorations on the models, on the articulator. We do the first foundation firing, lateral views, and then here's the time. Now is the time for the human factor, for the technician. We start to layering ceramic, dentine, internal effects, mamelons, opalescence materials, transparent, whatever, some internal and external cracks, and we have the final restorations right after cementation. He liked to have, he asked about natural appearance. Yes, more light color, more bright color, but he wanted, he asked me about some small erosion, some cracks, because he didn't want to change completely like a Hollywood smile from the previous situation, with a bad previous situation. So the final portrait of the patient. High smile line position.
Hi guys, a warm smile from Greece. Don't forget, apart from basketball, we know how to make teeth. Yes. Enjoy.
And the final result. Thank you very much. Ευχαριστώ. I hope I was on time.
Perfect. You were perfectly on time. It was a wonderful presentation. I have already written down myself, I think about 10 to 15 questions, but I will not hit you with them now. I will just congratulate you on this beautiful case and the wonderful documentation. It raises really beautiful questions for the Q&A part of the discussion. But now, with no further ado, I will hand the word to August, and we are curious what he has to follow up on the big shoes that you put in front of him. So let's see how August is going to fill them.
Hello, how are you? I want to say thank you very much. Yes, to Quintessencial organization, Christian and Vincent, thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here with you, with these 2 great dental technicians too, yes, Nondas and Hilal. Okay, I am an analog dental technician, and I want to show you my change. Yes, I think you are. Yes or not? Yes, perfect. Now I am changing from analog to digital. And for me this is not easier, yeah, because it's a big change, yes. And but it's very curious, huh? Because when I talk with the people, when I talk about digital dentistry, and I ask to the people, yes, if can you really make everything by a work digital flow? If I ask this to the analog people told me that this is not possible, yes, because it's not possible to make everything by a digital workflow. And always the analog people say, the quality in analog side is better, is absolutely better, yes. But if you talk with the digital people say, well, yeah, it's possible the quality in analog side is better, but in digital side is enough. You don't need more quality. And the productivity is top, is perfect. Yes, if you can see, it's absolutely two different views from the same dentistry. But what is quality? Yes, quality is only a personal perception. But who have this personal perception is the market, is the people, are the patient. Yes, the patients say if this work have quality or not have quality. And this is a very, very good question, no? What is quality, no? Today, the quality or the aesthetic concept is changing, because when I start, gold lateral was nice, incredible. Gold metal lateral, yes, was nice. The people love gold in this time. But today, if you talk about metal, the people can kill you, But today, the aesthetic concept is dead, no? Is bleach, absolutely, line, right, everything right here, and without too much translucency. If you think about this, the question is, okay, if the patient wants a bleach color and without too much translucency, I need layering, I need put ceramic or not. I can work with the industry products by milling machine. This is a good question, This is a very good question. In my personal opinion, I think that the quality is in analog side. But imagine, you need to make one single control by monolithic restoration, by a milling machine from the industry material. Sorry, it's not possible. You need always, you need build up, because it's something personal for these people, yes? But when you make 4 veneers or 4 crowns like this patient, in these cases, yes, you have 2 possibilities. You have 2 ways, yes? Possible, you can make a solution, you can look for a solution in a digital part, or you can look for a solution in the analog part. And always you will have a nice final result, always, because the quality is in the dental technician hands, in the dental technician mentality. This is the quality. Because if you understand the quality, you will make quality by analog or by digital without problems. But today, everybody work about digital, yes? And I make one very, very nice experience, yes? I had one patient, this case, and I sent this case to 3 different dental technicians. Absolutely digital, absolutely full digital dental technicians, yes? And I have 3 different, absolutely 3 different results. Nonetheless, I think the first one is your library, yes? I think it's your library. Okay, I have 3 different final results. But if you see the emergency profiles, the incisal edge position, the side, the volume, everything changed. Because here you can see 3 different qualities inside the head. you know. Look at, if you make this wax up, but by analog drop technique with the wax, you know, with wax, always is the same. You make everything drop by drop. When you put a drop, you are thinking about composition. When you put another drop, you are thinking about the shape. When you put another drop, you are thinking about the volume, about the insides of triangles, you know? Drop by drop, you are thinking about a lot of different aesthetic concepts. If you make the same by a digital side, you think about the same concepts. But the curious is when you are thinking about these concepts. And the answer is when you choose the library. When you choose the library, you need to think about shape, volumes, proportions, you know, insides of triangles. You need to think about everything. And the question is, really you think in this moment? You think about what library is the best library for this patient that will have this volume, that will have this proportion, that will have. I think no, yes. I think always that you are choose a library, you think about, I like it, I like it, I like it, I like Nonda's library, I like this library because I love, you know? And I can understand this. But when you put this library on top of the patient shape, possible you have good luck, yes? Imagine you have a preparation, you have one library shape, possible when you put on top, you will have a nice library shape for this gingival profile, emergency profile, you know, but possible not. Possible you have this emergency profile, sorry, I have this, yeah, you have, possible you have this more flat or this shape or this shape. And if you choose the same library, when you put together, you will have a nice final result, because your library shape need shrink in the cervical part, look for in the final preparation, and I have a deformed mesh. And this is something very, very important. For this reason, please, when you choose the library, don't think about the tooth shape. Think about the lac proportion, the cervical proportion. Because if you have a nice cervical proportion, you don't will have this problem. Look at the wax up and look at the final result. The incisional 8 is the wax up shape is perfect. But if you see the cervical shape, you can see like now, the cervical shape is deformed because the maze look for the final preparation and have deformation. And this is something very, very important. It's very important that when you put one library shape on top one natural tooth with preparation or without preparation, when you make the wax up, yes, always the cervical proportion, the lac proportion, are thinking about this, the natural cervical proportion, the natural lac, because if it's not, if you don't have, if you have two different lac proportions, one in the library, other one in the natural tooth, always the library need shrink to look for the natural final preparation, you know. I don't know if it's better analog or digital. In my laboratory, in my hands, always in anterior region, I use analog by layering, by brush, ceramic, because always if I use ceramic, I have control about the color. I can decide if in the cervical part, I put something more opaque or something more translucency, because I can understand if the color preparation is something nice or is something that I need to block down my restorations. For this reason, in my laboratory, always in anterior region, I make a buildup always, and full buildup because on investment dye or a platinum foil. Because if I have all the space for my layering, I can decide what is the first one and the last one layer, you know? And this, for me, is something very, very important. I forget one thing about this that I want to show you here. Yeah, sorry. Look at this, this library, yes? If you compare this side, you can see that this side is the same shape of this side, but look at the lag, the cervical part, this part, yes? Here, the proportion change is bigger. Here, the proportion change is less proportion, you know, is a smaller proportion. This is very important because the shape is the same, but this is thinking for a patient that don't have papillas, and this is a thinking for a patient that have papillas. If you have this one patient without papillas, you need one lag, very, very flat like this. But if you have a patient that the patient have papillas, you have other cervical shape, other cervical proportion. The incisal edge shape or the incisal edge proportion is something that is not too much important for us. Other important thing is the triangles. How much triangles have your library? This is something very important because the triangles are like the pixels for photography, you know, is the resolution. How much triangles do you have? How much the resolution do you have? And the milling machines will make a nice shape if have a nice resolution. For this reason, it's very important to know how much triangles have your library. If you see in this picture, you can see that you have the same shape with two different resolutions. This is less resolution, this is high resolution. It's very important to have a lot of triangles. Minimal 20,000 triangles. About after 20,000 triangles, you have a very, very nice resolution. Look at when your milling machines see this shape, the milling machine are seeing exactly this without resolution. You can see the triangles here. But when you have a lot of triangles, your milling machine can see the small concavities, the small things that you make, you know? Okay, my friends, I want to say thank you very much. I'm sorry for my English because it's terrible, yes? Okay, thank you so much.
The opposite, August. This was wonderful. So again, we know your point of view, and we are really happy to have you in this, you know, round of three, because you know you put a certain point to the discussion that is very important, and it's an let's say it's a lot of honesty speaking here. You know, pointing out several things between digital and analog, and all the experience that you have gained over the last years. So I will keep all my questions and don't burn them already now, but be prepared. And you know, now I think Hilal, it's your turn to sum it all up and show us the last thing of today. And then I'm really looking forward to the discussion.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, now we can hear you.
Perfect, perfect. I'm going to share my screen. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. Yes, I'm trying to start my.
Otherwise, I will just tell everyone how I met you. You know, we were in Barcelona sharing a stage.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it was you before me. I would have wished the other way around because I went finally on stage and I wondered, why should I actually go there? It makes no sense. You showed everything. It was perfect. So there was no reason really to go on stage for me. And I was really stunned by the quality, the level, and you know the way that you presented. So I was completely flashed, and it was a tough stage there for me. So anyway, ever since we were being in contact, it's a great pleasure that we met there in Barcelona, and I think now the screen sharing should be totally fine. So please.
Okay. Thank you very much, Vincent. It was a really good time for me too. So Christian and Vincent, thank you for having me with these two wonderful big gurus like August and Nondas. Thank you very much. And today I'm going to share with you some of my knowledge about how I survive in my daily routine. So basically, this is a question that we deal with every day in every congress, analog or digital. Are you analog person or are you a digital person? Or the question is like, are you solving this problem like in an analog or digital way? I think this is a silly question because without digital, I feel myself like a naked now. Also for the analog, the same. Why we cannot call it analog with digital or digital with analog? It's a really good concept. When you know how to combine them, it's amazing opportunities. For example, digital world, yes, we know the accuracy is amazing, repeatable, speed is perfect.
Yeah, we don't see your screen.
You cannot see my screen?
No, not yet. We see you perfectly, but still not the screen.
Oh, really?
Let's make a TED talk out of it. That's fine.
Yeah, you did great
Share
so far.
screen,
So don't
desktop, share.
Perfect.
Yes.
How about now?
Yes.
Okay.
Perfect, Hilal. You're in business.
Yes, as we say, digital world with many opportunities, you can be amazingly innovative. Also, it's a repeatable, it's affordable. So everything's okay now?
Yes, everything is okay.
Okay, okay, perfect. Let's think about the other professions, like they already entered the digital world before us, like architectures. So architecture still building physical models in the side of the 3D creation on the computer, because they wanted to feel things. They wanted to tactile sense. This is amazing subject, I guess. So to me, it's when I start to design things on on my screen, it's still two-dimensional. It's not real three-dimensional. That sometimes I just wanted to bite the screen. I'm sure you do too. So let's talk about on the cases and how I solved my cases in the digital world and how I combine the analog inside of the digital. What is my escape point in the digital? So that was the challenge as a case, because I was in Marseille with Dr. Stefan Kubi. He's a wonderful brother. He's an amazing guy, and he just published a book. So we said that let's make a challenge for us, and let's do the 2 ways in the workshop. Means I have to produce the restorations in 2 days, and also there was a very good talented dentist, Christian Musali, who is operating the CEREC machine. It's perfectly. It was unbelievable time for us to learn from our mistakes. So this is the case. Basically, we need to, when we look at the case needs to be the balance in the gingivally, and then this is our target, and on the right hand side, as you can see, and then this is our target. So when I receive the pictures, I always put it on my Keynote. You can do in the Photoshop exactly the same. I'm not using a kind of digital manipulating program, the special ones. I'm not using them. I'm just very fan of my Keynote. I can do very good things. So I just draw the shape according to the natural algorithm that I copy with. So those are the natural shapes, and those are our expectation according to the horizontal and vertical line. And I ask, with these opportunities, I can ask to my dentist, look, is it possible to make this pink into white? So digital gives me opportunity to collaborate, and then we can share lots of information. In this case, as you can see, we create a wax up onto the gingival overlap position before the gingival surgery. And then my dentist, Dr. Stefan Kubi, try to analyze them. Is it possible or not with the probe or with the measuring tools? Just make the simple things, not the fancy digital devices. By the way, I'm not a digital freak. I'm not trying to do whatever I do in digital. No, I'm just trying to use it as I like to use it. If I find some benefit out of it, so I'll definitely use these tools. So this is before and after, as you can see on the screen, the different colors on some central incisor and on the lateral incisor too. And this is the final outcome after the gingivectomy. And then we scan again. I was in Turkey, and then I received the STL file in Bodrum. So what I would like to say is that I think we have to consider when we going to start to wax in digital way or analog way. When? So for my opinion, if I need to copy a natural algorithm with a beautiful natural algorithm, no question about that, no question. Nature is always beautiful. Nature is always priceless for me. Then I can copy the nature. But this is a way you have to take care. Like Augusto says, the emergence profile is very important and the shape of the tooth is very important. One thing is also very important, that when you copy the natural algorithm, don't play with the sculpt tool. When you mess with the sculpt tool on it, when you mess with it, you are going to disturb everything. Natural algorithm is correlation in between some kind of the relation, the incisal edge position, the emergence profile, transitional lines. So for me, it is possible when you just scale and place it. But it's not possible if you place it and play with the sculpt tool, and then it's going to be become something else. Sorry. So an analog wax app is, I really like analog wax app. I come from the analog world, but not because of this. I can answer some special needs, some special requirements. If there's a diastema, I can close this diastema by clever positioning my wax, and then I can produce the final restoration accordingly. So this is really important, I guess. So it's also the feeling, the real-time experience. Also, under the better light conditions, as we know, the dental softwares, the most professional ones, light source is terrible, I would say. You can change the light source, but not like a natural light. Light, for me, it's everything. I record many videos and photographies under the very good light source. I know what does it mean. So for that reason, I highly recommend you to be analog on wax app site if you wanted to do something with your creation. If you wanted to create something by hand, don't go digital. Do it with wax, just a simple wax. So real-time experience and real 3D. In this case, I printed out the model, and I worked this on the printed out model because I received the data as a STL file on email. The one another information for you, the mesh mixer, Autodesk mesh mixer, the render quality is totally better than the dental softwares. I don't know why, but whatever I receive, I always check inside of the mesh mixer. It helps me to understand the details much better, and I convert this STL file into the printable model, Hello model. So this is a free software that you can download and start to use on tomorrow. And then in this case, yes, I printed out the model and I start to follow the guideline from the pictures. Then I do my wax. As you can see, I'm still super analog people when I do my wax. I really like it. I open the music and sometimes hard rock. Then I enjoy a lot because waxing is, to me, it's something creative in 3-dimensional. I love it. So, and thanks to the APT technique, my doctors always prep the tooth in the guided concept, and then prep the restorations. So in the lab again, we were together with the Christian Musoli, and then Christian wanted to do exactly the same procedure, like following the natural algorithm from the library, from the Select machine, and I was following my wax up. So when I received the framework, I start immediately making the corrections of the transitional lines and making the corrections on the emergence profile. The why? Because it was really, really thin restorations, and my wax was just additive by just finalizing the final. I was focusing when I'm doing my wax. I always focus on my emergence profile. So I don't want to do over contour to be additive. So that for that reason, sometimes I feel sometimes very hard times to receive exactly the same emergence profile that I do on my wax up. So as you can see on this video, I'm correcting it because it needs to be cool it down. It's slow. It needs to be slowed down. So also I make it as thin as possible. This is the way how I do my trimming back on the facial side, and I draw the lines inside of the restorations, and then as you can see, like this, and then I wetting the restoration, and I trim back from the facial side by seeing those patchworks from the internal that I created internally. So finally, the texture and the polishing, it was finalized by hand from my side. Also, in the other side, it was finalized by the Christian Musoli also. And then we see we start to stain. I love staining, but as much as I go in the monolithic world, I feel more guilty about staining because lots of people think that staining is very easy, but to me it's hard as like a good layering skills. It needs skills. So to do that, you have to train yourself by firing and firing and firing again, that several times to achieve a nice light absorbing effect on the surface of the restorations. Those were the restorations which we made out of Impress CAD Multi. It's a wonderful material, very soft, amazingly soft. While I'm trimming back, it gives me amazing moments because it's like enjoying the material. It's amazing. So this is the final outcome on the left-hand side. As you can see, this is the full digital restorations come out from the dentists. And the right-hand side, as you can see, this is my work on the patient map. But those are the two or the restorations created in only overnight. Let's say overnight. And Christian finished it before me for sure. I was the last one, and then as you can see here, the contour of the restorations different, the shade of the restorations different. I cannot say this is better than this. I cannot tell them because those are the two different options which take a place in the creation of the world. So some people say, okay, I don't have a possibility to create restorations with a nice staining, nice smoothing out on the surface of the restoration. But what you can see, this is really nice creation, I guess. It saved the day, saved the patient. Maybe they love it. But some people say is I would like to go with the more hand skills and whatsoever. So this is two different options, just too much emotional, that's it. So then when you go closer, when you stain it, it takes time. When you polish it, it also takes time. When you spend your time on something, you have to see the outcome inside of the mouth easily. So Finally, the restoration was cemented, and she was really enjoyed the restoration, and we really liked the material and in the overnight position. So let's talk about the strategic analog placement in the digital. In my daily routine, I'm going to make two more cases, show you two more cases. In my daily routine, I create a strategy like, as you can see, this is the wonderful publication from Francesca Vagliati and Urs Belzer, and the concept about the completing the form by sandwich technique. So this is also the case for sandwich technique. I have to complete the form. When you say about the form, digital and analog worlds, it's a little bit different. You can create many things. Look at this, the wax up that I created in the 45 minutes, maybe 1 hour. So I can play, I can enjoy as much as possible, because this is artistry. But do we need that much artistry in daily routine? So I'm not telling you because of the digital technology. Yes, we know if you have a very thin veneer on the surface of the occlusal area onlays, you might give you have to give and take. You have to give some details. But let me warn you, the nature is not like this. Look at my new workshop model. This is my new workshop model. Look at the details, the amazing, the sulcus area, this is the sulcus area, the details in the shallow surface texture. And this is not reality, actually. This is the mother nature. This is the model. This is the model, actually, that I receive from one of the patients, from my wife. And then I just sculpt a little bit more to make them a little bit more interesting. It's funny, huh? On the right-hand side, not that much detail. It's just functional. We have to respect that. So I think it's amazing. So we have to wake up. Instead of focusing on the details on the posterior area, as Vincent says, we all very happy about the monolithic restorations. And we can focus on vertical dimension and the CR or MIP. So the function, aesthetic plan, it's really important. Let's focus on the function at the posterior. And in this kind of cases, look, I already done my wax up, full wax up, the anterior and posterior, and I received the perforation, and I just combine them in the digital, and it gives me a time. This is how I like digital. So it saves me a time. It means I can focus on other things. So this is my world. So I love to mill out from the wax, not milling out from the glass ceramic if I have very thin restoration on the posterior area or palatal surface, or if I'm going to mill out everything on the anterior area, I like to mill out from the wax and make a little adjustment and then press it. Why not? I still love pressing. Press technology to me is the best. And then I can make the macro layering on the anterior area. I can save my time, then focus on to create a little bit more effect and the incisal aesthetic on the anterior zone. This is how I deal my everyday, more or less. So the case was basically finished on the sandwich technique. It's like a one piece, but it's not. I just stick them together to make a wonderful videography. So I really like the outcome of the material. But basically, I focus on aesthetic on the anterior area. I give a little bit more time for layering by saving time on posterior area. This is my knowledge. So basically, this is what it is. So I finalize the restorations like this on the anterior area, nice micro layering procedure. And then we started to treat the lower jaw for her. And for the lower jaw, also not so much details. Sometimes, let's say most of the time, I just monolithically make my wax sometimes in digital, sometimes just manually, and then I press it. That's it. It's that much simple. So I think, yes, press is the best in my daily routine because let's say I know refractory technique and the platinum foil technique, I mean feldspathic, is the best of the best. But in my daily routine, it takes a lot of time. It requires a lot of attention from the chair side too. For my reality is definitely press, and help of the digital mill and press is the best for me. And I'm going to show you a highly experimental case. Very, very experimental. Look at these pieces. Do you think this is a piece of nature? Actually, it's not. It's just the monolithic restorations. The boy was really young, and he was fighting all the time, and he was a good boy, and he was fighting. He was hitting himself on the street. We all were young, so we have some mistakes. So, but we have to protect the tooth. Suddenly, my mentor, Michel Magnier, was published in wonderful publication. It's like a layer effect with the press ceramics. It means you create something with the press technology like enamel, and you fill it with the composite like a dentine elasticity material. Yes, I know it is highly experimental, but it's amazing. It's amazing, I have to tell you. And also, let me show you the details. Very minimal prep to just complete the missing part. This is the model, and this is the wax up, and this is the model. This is the prepped picture. And then first of all, I create the shape of the dentine without enamel, and then I turn it into the refractory die model, like Augusto published and many years ago, exactly the same procedure. We wax it on it, and then I cut it out because of the shape of the enamel, it's not possible to take it out. I'm just trying to copy the enamel by using my wax. So this is totally analog, I would say, but it is amazing, the promising for the future of the digital. When we enter into the printed world, it's going to be amazing solutions, many ideas. So you can see, you can create with the analog world amazing ideas. Look at the restorations right after the pressing, and no staining, nothing, just texture internally and externally. It gives the biggest opportunity to create effects by just shaping it. When you change the shape of the material, means the thickness of the material, on the exterior surface and interior surface, you gain amazing effects. Yes, we saw it on the onlays. When you have very thin onlays, when you look at the lights, it looks very natural, amazing. Why we not to do on the anterior region? So I'm showing this case because we can use the printout technology. Analog world still inspiring us to look more digital solutions if we separate ourselves from analog worlds. How are we going to think about that? Are we going to think because of the software's limitation? No, we have to stay analog and think about our future, how to combine the digital in our analog world. So that was a really nice opportunity for me to publish this case together with my mentor, Michel Magnier, and we really like this technique, but I have to say, this is not a Monday technique. This is not an everyday case. This is not a case that you can do in everyday, not reality. But it can be very real. It can be very quick in digital possibilities. Just let me know when we enter the printed technology. It's going to be amazingly easy. I would say thank you for all of us. Thank you for your attention. I really like to be here. So thank you very much.
Hilal, perfect. I didn't expect any less than this. All of you, I mean, it would be foolish just to point out your last presentation because, we just ended up in this wonderful final pictures and documentation of this super minimal invasive case. It has been an honor to follow the three of you. And there have been very, very interesting questions coming in from the audience. And I hope you allow me to also that I came up with some questions of my own. And let's first of all, once again, thank the three of you as we still have all the audience with us now. I guess, during the final Q&A, some of them will already drop out, and I don't want to miss the opportunity to let all of them know that clearly for you, Hilal, for August, and also for you, Nandas, if you want to learn more about this, unique skills and skill set that all of the three have, and really share with us and have been sharing for the last hour. There's many more courses of you to attend in the future. So, keep in mind to the audience that, if you have the chance to follow one of the courses of the three of you, please do so because there's a lot to learn. So thank you very, very much for these beautiful three sets. And Nandas, I would love to start with you. For the first case, as you started, so you will also receive the first bunch of questions. The first question I will address to you was actually by the audience, and they were asking when you basically came up with the first provisional / eggshell, was there any kind of preparation done beforehand, or was it just, you designed the entire new outline, you defined a new vertical dimension, and you gave it as a mock-up, you gave it as a provisional, as an eggshell, all in one, and you just gave it a shot?
Yes, as I told them, it was no preparations at all. We just complete the missing parts. We had the opportunity to cement, not to make mock-up, all this structure, because we open a lot, like at least 7-8 millimeters, the vertical dimension of occlusal, and we keep over we put this provisionals over of the unprepped teeth.
Yeah.
Just for diagnosis of video, aesthetic, phonetic, function, and a new aesthetic portrait situation.
Perfect. So there is another point. Do you know by any chance what cement they used to deliver this restoration? What provisional cement? What material? What used?
The dentist, I think, there are some photopolymerization cement, like elastic cement. Sometimes the retention, it's not so good. They miss some provisionals. And for this case, we didn't have this problem because it was not single units. Yes. It was like 2 or 3 parts. So together. So it was not so big problem. It was a good retention, and it was okay about this. Some people, they use like a provisional cement, provisional classic cement, but change the color a lot, more white and opaque. Exactly. So she used this specific like gel that you can polymerize, but if it was separate units, it will be problem. And with this increase of video, a lot of forces, so we will lose some of them. But it was not this problem. We didn't have this problem.
Yeah, wonderful. Thank you very much. The next question would address, this case, because of the heavy erosion, you have a lot of space. You can actually gain a lot. So in all kind of dimensions. Let's say we all know that you do a lot of full mouth rehabilitation on a daily basis. And in a general routine, would you have a recommendation for the audience? Do you start in general with the upper jaw? Do you start with the lower jaw? Do you always do both in one shot? Is there any kind of, let's say, treatment approach or protocol that you on a daily basis follow?
So if it is a full rehabilitation, do you mean maxillary and mandibular?
Exactly.
Normally, I work both, but always I start from the maxillary in order to verify SP and Wilson curves and occlusal plane according the eyes, occlusal plane according the prosthetic plane. So, and to verify the most of the aesthetic of the maxillary. High smile, relaxing smile, or serious, portrait, all the smiley, and especially the function with Wilson and SP curves. If I work one by one, of course, we proceed for the diagnostic workup of the mandibular, and then we will work with ultracast, and we will always work with workup on the mandibular. Otherwise, not like to do, okay, let's verify the upper, the maxillary, and then we will see later. No, never. Or both.
Yes.
At the same time. But always when I start to apply ceramic, for example, or to make wax-up, it will be priority the maxillary.
Yes. Okay, perfect. I think this addresses very nicely the question that was raised here. Then a question that already addresses the two of you, Nondas and Hilal, because I mean, you apply all these digital tools during the workflow, and then you still go back to press it. So, I mean, it was wonderful to see on your hand, Nondas, that you were actually printing the entire setup, including the cylinders. I liked it a lot because I'm a fan of the system that you've been using. But it's always complicated to do it manually. So like the approach you showed is extremely, I guess, efficient. I guess it will also give beautiful surfaces. But if you are so far down the line, why don't you just go ahead and straight mill it from, the blanks?
I like a lot press. For example, if we compare, as Hilal and August said, if you make a handmade press, wax and press it, and you mill, just a tabletop, not complicated, just you will see the difference. Of course, I love press, and also I can adjust the marginal fit, everything with a spacer and that I will apply before, so I don't need to grind nothing. So it's a good combination. It's a good combination of manual and digital, and because you save time, the software puts everything on the ring. You don't need just to put them together, to put the wax, blah blah blah, all the stuff. Just put the investment material, press it.
Yes. No, I think
otherwise it doesn't make sense. If I need to print them and then to put them on the ring, I don't save a lot. But this is the way. Yes, makes sense.
Now this question we will have, I save for August for the end. When he comes up with his special technique of waxing on top of a refractory die, which I've seen and following up also Francesca's cases. But nevertheless, another question for you, Nondas, before I will continue. The material selection, it's basically, you showed this case of a heavy Broxer, and posterior as well as anterior, you had a lot of exposed dentin. You did a beautiful case analysis, the assessment of every tooth. For the posterior, on a, let's say, think wider than just this one case. Would you conclude or consider also like a monolithic zirconia as a treatment option? Or is it clear for you that reinforced glass ceramic, lithium disilicate, or similar systems offer that strength that you actually look for?
Yes, if it was, if I had to choose between cubic monolithic zirconia, yes, there is a good amount of cementation according to cement. But all of us, we know that glass ceramics has better cementation. Also, researchers give us the information that cubic zirconia give us a good enough cementation. But in this very aggressive case, that it was a lot of missing of enamel.
Yeah.
I wanted to be sure that I will achieve the best, even 5% more or 7% more cementation. If we have, okay, 5 it's a lot, it's better.
Okay.
So let's go to the limits and because it was also the mechanical, we changed the mechanical behavior of the all the situation because we had a lot of thickness of the occlusal surface. So a lot of rotated forces. So and also the preparation, it was critical, how it will be the preparation. Always the preparation goes where we wanted to find a little bit more enamel for better cementation. Yes, you can choose monolithic zirconia as well. But okay, let's say that we were just a little bit more safe.
Okay.
Okay.
So let's say you have 10 similar cases.
Cement as well. FDP has to contain FDP, the cement for good cementation, whatever.
Yeah. Okay. So let's say your first choice would be still to pick any kind of reinforced glass ceramic lithium disilicate when you have the chance to augment the vertical dimension, let's say with more than 1 millimeter in thickness. So there is no issue of minimal dimensions and so on and so on.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. I will come back to you, but I will have the next question for August. And you know, you were actually you know, addressing even slightly philosophical questions here, making you know, the skill of the technician in the center point of view. And it's actually very how do you say, it's not an easy question to address, but what I want to highlight is, you know, you are extremely skilled. You have you're around for so many years, so you know, let's say, the quality of dental technicians that are around, and I mean, you also see your own quality. But what I want to highlight or emphasize in a way is that not everybody is as talented as you are. So what is your advice for those of us listening, including me, that are maybe not as skilled manually waxing, and they're really taking their advantage from working with libraries such as Nanda's or yours, you know, where we can actually apply all these digital tools that maybe our hands are not capable to fulfill?
To choose the library is something absolutely difficult, yes? Because, you know, it's difficult for the people that are coming from the wax shop, with the wax, you know? Because in my mind, always is to make the shade, to make the composition, the volume, drop by drop, you know? And when you choose the library, you are choosing everything. You are choosing the volume, you know, the proportions, you know, the shape, everything is inside, you know? And in 1 minute, you need to choose the library, you need to choose everything. And this is something very, very difficult. For this reason, I talk about this, and I talk that for me, it's something interesting if you start to choosing the library from the cervical part, thinking from the cervical part, you know? Because if you think about the cervical part, yes, you have a lot of things. Because after, if you like the incisal shape, will be okay. But if you don't like, okay, you can change the incisal triangle, or I don't know, the side, you know? But the cervical part is something that is very, very important, because when the mesh shrink, it's very important that the proportion, it's okay, you know? You understand my English?
Absolutely.
For this reason, I think this is a good tip for the people that look for shapes in libraries, you know?
Yeah. So another point would be, you know, you showed these beautiful libraries, and you highlighted the point that you need to have a very small, let's say, amount, or the other way around, you need to have a lot of small triangles to really replicate nature as perfect as it's possible. So you said, let's say for one morphology of essential incisors, you need a minimum of 20,000 triangles to really be detailed, and then having the milling machine actually giving the opportunity to remill these details. But do you see like a general 5-axis milling machine being able to reproduce all these details? Is that, I mean, what is your perspective on it, your perspective?
No, the milling machines the regular milling machines always have limitations about the resolutions. Yes, if you see the softwares, because the milling machine is nothing. The important is the software, you know, and the softwares always detect around 15,000, 20,000 triangles. More than this, a lot of milling machines don't detect, or a lot of softwares don't detect. Okay, but sorry for my English because it's very difficult for me. Yeah? But some people can use professionals CAM softwares, you know?
Yeah.
And if you have a professional CAM, a professional software, you can mill something with high resolution. And in these cases, you can mill small things from the morphology, like, I don't know, small concavities or something like this. The question is, a regular laboratory need it? This is a very good question, because I think the truth, if I am honest, I think no. With 15,000, 20,000 triangles is enough for you. You don't need more. And a regular milling machine with a regular software is enough for you. But it's very important that after the software, after the milling machine gives you the restoration, please work with your hands. Yes, put 10,000 triangles more, you know? Because this is important, you know?
Very, very good point. Last question for the time being, and then I will get back to you. We all know your beautiful article. It has been raised even in this presentation, where you actually did this wonderful, extremely thin tabletops based on refractory dies. You did a wax up, you invested them then on this base of a Geller model. Is that something that you would also recommend for, let's say, a general technician around the world to follow up? Do you still do it? Is that something that, you know, it was just done for one case to document it because the case looked awesome and beautiful? I still see the follow up on it. But what is your, you know, looking back on it? Do you still do this technique?
The press, make the wax on top of the investment die, yes?
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh, yes. I use a lot of times. Yes, I use a lot of times. Always that I don't have a lot of space. Always that I need to make a very, very thin restorations. I use this technique because it's incredible. You can press 0.3. Yes, and you have an incredible fit and an incredible stability. Because a lot of times, possible you have a very nice fit, but you don't have a good stability. You know. With this technique, you have everything. It's something incredible, and I love the technique that Hilal showed today. Yes, because I thought, oh, wow, this is incredible, no? Because you can make the denting, and after with my technique, you can make the enamel. Congratulations, Hilal. Was very nice. I love it.
Yes, I can just follow up on this case. Another point is, when you do these very, very thin cases on a daily basis, you know, let's say in your private laboratory, not with the university associated, do you give a guarantee for this? It's 0.3. It just, you know, this stupid question that maybe a Swiss German would think of. Because I would have sometimes a hard time to go to bed at night, you know, thinking, do they fracture? What happened? I know that they don't, but just to have your experience on it.
You know, 3 weeks ago, yes, 3 weeks ago, I was talking with Oscar Gonzalez. You know, Oscar Gonzalez is a very nice dentist from Madrid. Well, he's from the south of Spain, but he has his dentist office in Madrid. And he was writing an article about fracture resistance, about fractures, ferrules?
Yeah.
Ferrules, yes. About feldspathic veneers, okay? And he told me that he have the 9% of fracture percent. Sorry, he have a 9% ferrules in his work, yes, in his patients. 9% is, I thought for me, is too much. It's a lot, 9%. But if you think about metal ceramic, how many times do you have fractures in metal ceramic crowns? Possible is 9%. Possible is 9%. I think we have fractures, and a lot of times in the posterior area, we don't know. Yes, dental technicians, dentists, yes, dentists, yes. But dental technicians, we don't know. But in anterior region, a lot of times we have fractures. But I think we have fractures if we use feldspathic ceramic or lithium disilicate, yes, because when you have a strong charge, it's not easier. You know? But guarantee, I don't, I don't have guarantee. Sure,
No,
sure not.
It's a stupid question. I know, I'm sorry to bug you with it, but it's just something that, you know, if you see these beautiful posterior restorations being pressed, you just wonder, you know, what is your way of handling this in a daily basis?
But you know, for me, the most anterior region is not posterior, it's anterior.
Really?
When I really, absolutely, really. Because in the posterior region, when I make tabletops with lithium disilicate, well, you don't have too much problems. You don't have too much problems, because always that you restore a patient a full arc rehabilitation, yes, by tabletops. Your tabletops are not thin. It's very strange. Normal have 0.81 millimeters.
Exactly.
This is perfect. You don't have problems with this. The problem is this, yes, because you change the incisal H position, and the patients don't have this in his memory, in their memory. And when they eat something with the hand, by the hand, yes, it's very simple, broke something. The first month, yes, the first 6 months, you know, no. For this reason, always my problems are more with the lateral or with the centrals than the posterior.
This is very interesting to know. And just maybe already a question for the three of you before I come to you, Hilal. In general, you know, when you do these minimal invasive restorations, do you follow up with Michigan splints, thermoplastic splints? August, maybe you want to address it first. Is there kind of a, you always give a protection afterwards with
After
it?
cementation, yes. This is important. I think this is very important after cementation and the first month, yes, the first 6 months, yes, because it's very important the memory patient, the incisal H position memory in the patient memory, you know, this is very important. And but it's very important 2 things, yes. This and another one is told with the patient, please be careful when you eat with the hands. In this moment is very difficult. It's very important to understand that the patient, when cooked, always that eat with the hands, never with cubiertos.
Okay. Interesting point. Nandas, yeah. any perspective on your end?
Yes, of course. For cases like these, big rehabilitations, we need to support with a mouth guard with a Michigan
Michigan splint.
So and then also maybe to modify this period of time, use the Michigan to verify sometimes the angulation of the Michigan, the contacts, and put him like a transition procedure in order to understand, as August said, to realize after a certain time that, okay, this is a new situation and have different cusps, different angulation of cups, maybe a little bit, not a little bit, different incisal guidance. So to start to use his teeth like sensors, as it is in the nature.
Okay, so we have a conclusion in
incisal guidance, like canine guidance, like the distal first molar, facial cusp guidance for Bennett angulation, or all this stuff. Okay, like to understand the information, so to pass information to the brain like a sensors.
I think this is really, once, you know, addressing these full mouth rehabilitations, the patients have to be somehow reprogrammed to what, you know, we deliver to them after this period of 4 to 6 months of a treatment. So we have a conclusion on this here in Spain, and we have it in Greece. Hilal, how is Turkey doing on this kind of protective elements?
Yeah, actually, for our patients, if there's a habitual movement to avoid, yes, it's good to do kind of splints. And also, you know, after the cementation, actually, it's not possible for dentists to fine-tune the occlusion at the same day. So to just protect the position and everything in place, to be sure, right to next appointment with the patient, my dentist always do this kind of splints to protect the initial position until they reach the stable position with the Canon or group function guidance, whatever they have, which kind of chewing cycle the patient has. So until this moment, yes, protection is really important.
Wonderful. So following up on your beautiful presentation, and I can only once again tell you how amazed I am by, you know, the little videos you have there, the way that you are able to display these little diamonds of veneers or edge pieces. I don't know how I should call them, but it seems like you have a lot of long distance relationships.
Yes.
So, you know, as a very basic question here, addressing these long distance relationships, digital is maybe the biggest relief for you, right? Because you don't have to take care of all the shipping and border control and tax issues and so on.
Actually, to be honest, we still ship impressions. Impressions is the best thing that you can receive lots of information from the patient. But for the wax up, it's amazing. Just analyzing the patient, it's amazing. Sometimes I do my wax and scan and send it to my dentist, and they print it out very fast. It's very fast communication. Also, which something very amazing is, yes, the digital impressions is not that much good yet, but they are perfect actually, which we cannot see in dental softwares. It's very interesting. When you saw the marginal line, it looks like a fused, but when you print it out, you see the marginal line is better than what you saw on the screen. So to be sure that I highly recommend to all of the people to just open the STL files in another software, which is like a mesh mixer, like a free software, to see the better rendering in better light conditions. The light conditions still not perfect in the software, then it's better to see after the printing out.
Okay, that, I mean, I had the mesh mixer here highlighted on my paper sheet. We also enjoy to use it. I mean, as we all do, programs that are for free and more or less easy to use. I mean, if you don't understand it in the beginning, you check some YouTube tutorial and it's not very difficult. But let's say you go forward, you have this kind of anterior wax up, you double check it in the mesh mixer. You just double check it there, or you do some final adjustments, or
yeah, I always do final adjustments after the milling out from the wax on the model. So if I have the impression, also together, sometimes I receive the STL file, I start to produce my restorations, and then I receive the real impression, the analog impression, week after. So it also saves it saves times, you know. Then I can pour my impression and check the wax on the real impression, and you can see the slight difference from the STL file and the impression. It's amazing. Yes, I always align with the wax on the cervical. I love to control the emergence profile, very thinner.
Okay, it's really interesting to hear that. It's also wonderful to learn that you still rely on conventional impressions, and despite the fact that the shipping, I guess, to Turkey, as you just mentioned, might even take up to a week. I mean, it's really an issue that slows you down. Again, following up on the question of, you know, assessing the point of when you do an analog wax up or when you're going to head up for a digital wax up, because just for my perspective, I mean, if I have to do something analog, it just takes, let's say, double, if not triple the amount of time than if I would do it digital. So I'm always drawn to actually do it digital. So I see the point of view, you have the different light, you have the morphology, the 3 dimensions. You even have the chance to work with the models in your hand. But maybe you want to just elaborate it a little more when you do one and when you do the other.
So exactly, very good question, very good subject. I think we all agree we are not copying natural algorithm 100%. So if you want to copy the natural algorithm 100%, digital is the only way. Just snap on it, just copy it, just try to be careful about the emergence profile and cervical line, like August says. And then, bam, you have natural algorithm on your case, which unfortunately, none of the best dental technician can do. We all have a signature. We cannot avoid that. So this is the ugly truth. But when I wanted to copy natural algorithm, sometimes I use like this. I just create natural algorithm on my WhatsApp on the initial situation, and then I make a silicon index, and on the one side, or I can create a crown copyings, or if I'm doing the crowns on the adjacent, and try to copy just next to them. It gives me another opportunity to just copy just one step better to the natural algorithm. It's just, again, the analog creation, but it gives me the very clear target by just seeing in place the natural algorithm.
Okay, thank you very much for this nice elaboration. And then, I mean, we have to call it your battle with the CEREC machine. 2-day course, having to add up 6 veneers, doing it either manually with all the the needed or the possible manual adjustments, and comparing it with the full digital workflow, where I guess you all used the same material, like a Lois seed reinforced glass ceramic, like Empress, for instance. What is actually the thickness that you are milling these restorations?
From my point of view, actually, I focus on the minimal thickness that I can receive from the machine.
Yeah.
But then I can go further to 0.1 by just trimming down. The Empress CAD Multi, it's very soft material. It allows me to control the thickness very well. The question is, sometimes the people see if you do very, very thin veneers, it's a big success. I think it's not, because this is the chair sites are going to show you the truth, like a refractory die technique, like a feldspathic technique. If it's going to be very thin, it's going to be amazing problematic in the chair side. So let's talk about the success. I like to rely on at least minimum 0.3 to be safe on the chair side too.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect. But I guess it was an interesting course these 2 days, and I assume you didn't sleep too much.
Yeah, no.
But not because of some good French wine, but I guess because some long hours of working. Okay, final question for you, because before we all go together for a final discussion and wrap up, the last case, I mean, as it's so special, having this, let's say, shell technique, what is the ingot that you used? What is the material that or what is, let's put it in other words, what is your selection criteria to select this color for this type of case?
Actually, I'm not doing this kind of case so much. That was an experimental trial, this kind of cases. That was the ingot, which was on the market from the Ivoclar Vivadent company. It's called Impulse, Opal 1. This ingot is very dangerous if you don't know how to use it, right, Augusto?
Yes, absolutely right.
So you have to be extremely thin to get benefit out of the opalescence effect. So, but under the circumstances of being the less than 0.3, all of the ingots became like very translucent, and that they look like each other. But the opal is slightly different. It's a very powerful opal effect inside. So on the last case, I use opal effect 1, but opal effect 1 is not my favorite. I think is the MT is my favorite. Medium translucent is my favorite because I can protect the value always high while I'm in between 0.3 and 0.5. I still get the value with the micro layering technique. I use the 80% of the restoration thickness from the ingot, and then the micro layer on top.
Okay, super. Very, very nice summary. Thank you very much. So just for me to double check, the MT would in this case then represent lithium disilicate, correct?
Yes, it is.
So you did this.
No, on this case, on last case, I used the opal one from lithium disilicate from Emax.
Okay, so it wasn't a Loisite reinforced glass ceramic, it was really a lithium
disilicate, yes.
Okay, very interesting because we saw a lot of, let's say, feldspathic type, Loisite type anterior restoration, but I didn't expect this to be lithium disilicate, even more interesting.
Yes, yes, it was.
Great, so bringing us all together now, the three of us, I think as a conclusion, we can all say, and maybe you can each of you address it in your own words, all the analog, let's say, skills that each of you have and have been learning and following for so many years, they still differentiate a great case from a regular case. Despite all the digital tools. If you don't have the hand, you will not do it, correct? Is that something you can elaborate, you can agree, you can disagree?
Totally agree.
Totally agree.
August, now we need your spiritual words.
I am agreed, absolutely great. The analogic side is very important in our work. Yes, yes or yes, yes. But a lot of today is incredible because you can see very young dental technicians that don't have a lot of experience in the analog side that make great digital works.
Yeah,
this
is a question that I kind of wanted to keep for the end. In the end, I would just love to have a statement from each of you. It's maybe a little bit controversial, and it's not the elegantest of all questions to address, but if you think of an average dental technician that is out there listening, I mean, everybody tries to, to grow and to learn more. But I would even, put out the statement that using these new technologies enables a technician to become a better technician. Having not to hide a metallic framework or a white zirconia framework, or to actually to utilize a complex layering with applying 30 or 40 different powders, makes an average technician a better technician by applying the new technologies. Is that something that even all of you are so skilled that you still see or you can agree on, or is that something you disagree? August, maybe you want to start.
No, I am absolutely agree. Yes, because today you can see, this you can see, but take attention. This is like the pictures, if you think about the photograph, yes, the photograph years ago need a lot of things to make one nice picture, and today with this you have incredible pictures, yes, and you don't need incredible science, to know a lot of things about photograph, only with the mobile phone. Yeah. Okay, I think dental technicians is something it's not the same, but something like this. Today is possible to make something interesting only by digital tools. I am agree.
Good. Nandas?
Yeah. My opinion is that if you are not a good dental technician with experience, it's not possible to make something exceptional or more than the average working only digital. Digital gives you prototypes. So I have a occlusal surface, I have a morphology, I put them everything together. But if I ask from someone, okay, modify now, modify according to the occlusal, according to this aesthetic, make some individualization, they messed up. If you are not dental technician, give me something, put coffee here, but if I ask from this technician to modify, it's a mess. So always in my lab, sorry for the telephone, I'm in the lab. Yeah. I'm asking first to make something analogic. If they don't know analogic morphology, doesn't work. So you must not forget to be dental technicians. Okay.
Beautiful.
So, in the previous question, like in these cases like this, you prefer to make analogic workshop or digital? Always 100% analogic, because analogic gives me the opportunity to make very specific customization in the two dimensions in the screen. I can put everything together, but if I start to make customization about aesthetic, all this stuff, it's not the same. I feel the works. I feel my articulator. I feel the forces of the occlusal, of the lateral movements, everything. I don't feel nothing in front of a screen. Really nothing. Only I can enjoy easier my Greek Freddo espresso.
So when you do your courses and you do this wonderful oversized teeth, this is actually, your vision, sharing this knowledge with the participants, shaping and sculpting these teeth from the
doing this. Some people maybe they think that I'm doing this just for I don't know, for look at me, what I can do. No. It's a teaching time that people pay and they lose time, so you have to teach them. It's about morphology, so they can see morphology, rotations, how has to be the teeth, the occlusal inclination according the function, height of cusps, fossas, enamel bridges, everything, and then how to handle the material. Because the people sometimes they ask, I have cracks, I have bubbles. So, okay, it's a big object like this, and you can bake it. How it's not possible? You cannot bake very well a normal molar. It's a human mistakes.
Yeah.
So this helps them to realize the materials according what kind of material, the volume of the material. Of course, you will bake a case for a small premolar with totally different way in your ceramic furnace if it is a full implant arch of zirconia, for example. Totally 100% different story. Some people, they follow just programs. Give me the program. No, it's totally different story. If you bake one tooth, a gold metal ceramic, chrome cobalt metal ceramic, zirconia, full arch, or 6 units, or in straight line, or in a arch, whatever.
U-shape.
So this exercise, the big molar, help them to understand materials and the way of working and all this, etc.
This is, you said it very nicely. This is something that I'm really missing today. The understanding for why certain things happen and why certain things have to be addressed completely different than others. You cannot just put a single lithium disilicate in the same box or in the same shoe as a full horseshoe, even a monolithic 3 or 4 unit bridge with a, let's say, a heavy pontic, 5-6 gram of zirconia, whatever it is, the restorative material. And there is a complete lack of knowledge today. And I'm very happy that the 3 of you are there to educate all of these critical aspects, because I mean, we all tend to follow just the beautiful aspects of our profession, but sometimes the basic, the fundament is really crucial to be successful in the long run. And maybe Hilal, you want to also address this critical question.
Yes. I wanted to take attention about the reality of the world. We all 4 dental technicians, we are not the reality actually. We are the guys who is running around the edges to trying to new technologies, pushing the limits. But let's face with the ordinary lab. For sure, definitely digital technology elevates up the mid-level of the capability of the dental technicians. Definitely, this is amazing things. The carving, it's amazing skills. I think everybody needs to experience carving. Carving, it's not expensive things. Yes, we learn carving the soap in the school by trying to see the edges, the transitional lines, just to visualize things. Unfortunately, I totally agree with August and Nondas. The screen is just two-dimensional. They cannot see the transitional lines in this time. But maybe in the future, with the more artificial intelligence, with the special gloves whatsoever, that you can feel what you are playing on the screen, right? So future is not so far, gentlemen. Yes, I totally agree. Even with the future, we have to experience the carving, the creating something with the naked hands.
I think this is a beautiful statement to conclude on this wonderful session. It has been a wonderful honor for me personally to have the chance and the luxury of listening to the three of you, as all of you really you represent unique skill sets, and you run around the world. I have to say, as I hope you will soon be able to do so again. Let's put it like this. And you really share your knowledge for so many years already. And yeah, it's just, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. It has been a wonderful session, and it has been wonderful to see and to have this good experience spread that you are able to share. And I wish you in all of your countries that we will be able to go back to normal as soon as possible with the best possible ways that maybe are different to all of us. But I truly hope, and this is the most important thing that I want to tell you, that I will be able to meet you in person very soon, and not only in Zoom or in any other kind of online platform, because in the end, having and sharing a glass of wine, a beer, or I don't know, just spreading a word is a completely different thing. But nevertheless, I want to thank you also, Christian, and the Quintessence for giving the stage to dental technology, and the four of us, if you want to call it like this. And I wish you all a wonderful evening, and thank you very much for your attention.
Yes, also on behalf of Quintessence, thank you very much for taking time and being with us today and educating and sharing your knowledge. It's truly amazing. I'm neither a dentist nor technician, but it's always great to listen to you guys. You are artists, all of you, and it's always inspiring. Also for the patient's perspective, what's possible, and with how much passion you guys work with your little microcosmos, and it's amazing. So thank you very much. For those of you who are fathers, again, happy Father's Day. I know Nondas, you are a fresh one. So it's your day. Thank you very much for taking my time off. Vincent, thank you very much. You did a wonderful job. August, always great to listen to you. Hilal, we have not met before, so thank you very much for being here with us today. And I also hope to personally meet each and every one of you very soon. Vincent, this opportunity gives us a chance to see us a lot more often.
Sure.
Ever since we started Zooming, I've met and I saw so many people so many times that I usually see once a year, twice a year, but it's better to be in person and also to share a hug every now and then. So thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of the day, the rest of the evening, and for some long weekends. And I hope to see you all again very, very soon. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, guys.
Bye.
Christian, can nobody hear us anymore?
Hold on.
Christian, thank you so much for everything.
You're warmly welcome. Thank you very much.
It was a big pleasure.
Yes,
Thank
thank you
you.
all of you. August,
Thank you.
Nanda, Sila, wonderful.
Bye
Thank
bye.
you. Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye bye.